Hi, welcome to our channel of IGNOU Audiobooks, Indira Gandhi National Open University, School of Journalism and New Media Studies, Surgeons, Master of Arts, Journalism and Electronic Media, MAJEM. Second year. MJM 028 Digital Media. Block 1 New Media and Society. Unit 4 Policy Framework and Regulation. 4.0 Introduction. Any information, picture, audio, text, graphics, video, etc., that is created and or transmitted using digital means such as a network is referred to as digital media. The YouTube videos we watch, the Instagram and Facebook posts, the news links we read and share, the music we download and also the information we download for our college projects are all examples of digital media. These days, even television has become digital as a set-top box is used for transmission of signals. This device converts signals into digital form and hence, the TV we watch is also digital media. The digital media scenario in India has evolved in spurts and phases. Today, it seems to be ubiquitous and overarching. There are about 2 million paid digital media subscribers, while 1.5 million have entirely switched over to digital media. 50% of the growth in digital subscription has happened within the year 2017. This rapid rise is attributed to the enormous telecom subscriber base of 1.19 billion. Mobile phones are used by 650 million people, while 363 million use broadband. About 600 million individuals are using the internet now. Average data usage has gone up to 3.9 gigabytes per month. Smartphones have a penetration rate of 33%, of which 83% are Android phones. Such a large subscriber base calls for a robust regulatory and policy framework. The Telecom Regulatory Authority of India, TRAI, has been entrusted with regulating the sector. The policy decisions regarding all matters related to information technology are taken by the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, MeitY. Together, these two bodies manage the policy and regulatory framework for digital media in India. Apart from this, there are several bodies and agencies that help in regulating the digital media landscape in India. In this unit, we shall discuss the regulatory frameworks currently existing in India to monitor and regulate the ever-growing digital media landscape and the national and international policy frameworks related to information and communication technologies, ICT. 4.1 Learning Outcomes. After reading this unit, you will be able to understand the policy and regulatory framework for digital media, recognize roles, responsibilities and powers of different bodies. Examine the regulatory and policy challenges in the domain and understand overlaps and lacuna in the system. 4. 2. Digital media framework in India. India is one of the largest telecommunication markets in the world. You might have gone through various data related to the penetration levels of ICT services in Indian telecom scenario in the previous unit. We have the highest data consumption, as more than 600 million internet users and 400 million regular users of social media in India. Such rapid expansion of digital media promise calls for more avenues of equitable distribution of resources and provides new opportunities for work, thereby facilitating growth and development. The scenario has become further complicated due to the emergence of over-the-top, OTT, content providers such as Disney Hotstar, Netflix and Amazon Prime. These platforms have caused significant disruptions in the digital entertainment domain. There are no rules or guidelines to regulate content over online platforms. Though the government is mulling such a move, the content providers have been resisting it, citing the right to freedom of expression enshrined in the Constitution. Digitization and enhanced infrastructure have also allowed niche content to be published, aired in vernacular languages. It has become much easier to do targeted advertising as viewing has become much individualized. There are over 300 million over-the-top OTT subscribers in India as on 2019. Online gaming and video calls have become exceedingly popular. Both traditional and new players have entered the digital media market. Therefore, the digital media ecosystem has many stakeholders. These are players who are involved in creating, using, and facilitating access to digital communication. On the one hand, there are telecom and internet service providers such as Airtel, Reliance Jio, Tata, etc., who provide platforms and connectivity to reach consumers, while on the other hand, there are production companies that create content for distribution. Therefore, any regulatory body dealing with the above must consider issues such as spectrum allocation, licensing, broadcast permits, and infrastructure, in addition to establishing guidelines for the production, transmission, and distribution of content. It is paramount to secure the interests of consumers as well as the service providers. The Internet policy researchers try to understand the practice of governing the Internet as a global and national infrastructure, the impact of public and private regulation on Internet-based economies, communities, and cultures, and the rights, responsibilities, norms, and principles invoked by users and non-users. India has always encouraged a multi-stakeholder approach to Internet governance. This signifies that the government wants to restrict the monopoly of any one player while holding them accountable for their actions. Additionally, the safeguarding of public interest in the administration of the Internet is of more significance. The following are issues that need to be managed to ensure a democratic distribution of spectrum in India. 1. Control of critical Internet resources. 2. Setting Internet standards. 3. Access and interconnection coordination. 4. Cybersecurity governance. 5. Policy role of information intermediation. 6. Architecture-based intellectual property rights enforcement. Unity. There are also questions of data protection and privacy, copyright, security, digital literacy, net neutrality, content regulation, and data regulation. Access to information is vital for a vibrant democracy. At the moment, access to telephone and internet is managed with the help of internet service providers. This raises questions about implications for users in case the information infrastructure is manipulated by vested interests. The onus of governing this lies with the TRAI through MeitY, as explained later in the unit. The government protects the rights of content creators through the IT Act. The question of data regulation has been addressed through the Data Protection Bill. Privacy concerns are addressed within the legal and constitutional framework. Thus, Internet governance in India is a mix of all types of actors. Kher et al., 2019. The Government of India has envisioned a flagship Digital India program that is centered on three core areas. 1. Digital infrastructure as a utility to every citizen. 2. Governance and services on demand. 3. Digital empowerment of citizens. To further understand the roles and responsibilities of stakeholders, it is essential to understand the regulatory framework in India. As per the Indian Constitution, our administrative system is divided into legislature, executive, and judiciary. The legislature makes laws and rules for the country. It includes the parliament and state legislatures. The executive, central and state governments, ensures law enforcement, while the judiciary acts as a system of balance so that powers of both legislative and executive are kept under check. It safeguards the constitutional rights of citizens. The legislature makes rules and regulations that are converted into laws by the executive. The judiciary safeguards these laws and ensures enforcement. The laws have to be complied by all, and any non-compliance is punishable by fine or imprisonment. Thus, legislative bodies make regulations, and the judiciary ensures compliance by backing them with strict laws. In India, the Department of Telecommunication, DOT, operating under the Ministry of Communication handles all matters about policy, licensing and regulation in the telecom sector. It manages the Digital Communications Commission, DCC, Telecom Regulatory Authority of India, TRAI, Telecom Disputes Settlement and Appellate Tribunal, TDSAT, etc. The responsibility of the administration of laws related to telecom also rests with DOT. The Indian government established the Telecom Commission in 1989 to deal with the administrative and financial matters related to telecommunications. It was rechristened as the Digital Communications Commission, DCC, in October 2018. The DCC has the following functions. 1. Formulating the policies of the Department of Telecommunications for approval of the government. 2. Preparing the budget for the Department of Telecommunications for each financial year and getting it approved by the government, and implementation of 3. The government's policy in all matters concerning telecommunication. 4.3 ICT Policies of India. To better understand the regulatory and policy framework in the telecom sector, let us first understand the differences between policy, regulation, laws and guidelines. Policies are different from regulations as the purpose of a policy is to guide decisions. They are a statement of intent and are usually indicative in nature and broad in scope. Theodore J. Lowy, the American political scientist, proposed 4 types of policy, namely distributive, redistributive, regulatory and constituent, Perguntasaupo, 2012. The regulatory policies define limits to behavior and suggest fines for non-compliance while limiting the discretion of agencies. 4.3.1 The National Telecom Policy, 1994, 1999 and 2012. In India, the National Telecom Policy has been the guiding source for the telecommunication sector. Initially, the National Telecom Policy 1994 was introduced as part of the budgetary announcements to open up the telecom sectors to private players. The full-fledged National Telecom Policy, NTP, was introduced in the year 1999 and reintroduced in the year 2012. The NTP 1999 policy seeks to address the issues such as availability of spectrum for telecom services. An independent regulator, TRAI, has been created for the purpose through the NTP 1999. TRAI regulates the allocation of telecom spectrum in India. It lays down rules for eligibility criteria, application, licensing and granting of spectrum frequencies. The bidding process contains multiple stages, and TRAI ensures that all interested players abide by the established standards at each stage. During the NTP 1999 period, there were concerns regarding the declining revenues of private players involved in the telecom sector and the need to safeguard the IT sector against emerging threats. It envisaged providing affordable and effective communications for all Indians, including those based in rural, tribal, and hilly areas. Improving the telecommunications infrastructure and proper management of the spectrum were the most important objectives of this policy. The NTP 2012 document states that the vision is to transform the country into an empowered and inclusive knowledge-based society using telecommunications as a platform. The main aim is to enhance technology adoption so that sectors such as education, health, etc. can be improved. As per the policy document, NTP-2012 is an initiative to create a conducive policy framework to address these issues and to touch the lives of all citizens and transform India. NTP 2012 is aimed at further empowering the regulator. 4.3 to the National Cybersecurity Policy, 2013. During the early period of the 2020s, the information technology, IT, sector has grown exponentially in India. The government aimed to be at par with global IT markets, for which a secure, robust networked environment was the need of the hour. It is essential to have a secure cyber ecosystem to gain the trust of global IT players. A multi-pronged approach was required to set up such an environment. The National Cyber Security Policy, NCSP, was designed to fulfill this need. The primary objectives of the NSCP were creating a secure cyber ecosystem in the country by generating adequate trust and confidence in IT systems and transactions in cyberspace and strengthening the regulatory framework to achieve this. The policy focused on creating strategies to gain information about cybersecurity threats at national and sectoral levels. Proposed to establish a National Critical Information Infrastructure Protection Center, NCIIPC, to protect vital information infrastructure. There was a lot of impetus on research and development of new IT products. The policy talks about protecting and safeguarding private data of citizens against cybercrime and theft. The NCSP assured to establishing mechanisms to prevent, investigate, and prosecute cybercrime. The policy encourages public-private partnerships and collaborative engagements for securing cyberspace. However, the NCSP was silent on provisions to deal with risks from new technologies such as cloud computing, blockchains, etc., and increased use of social media networks. 4.3.3 The National Digital Communications Policy, 2018. In 2018, National Telecom Policy was reintroduced as National Digital Communications Policy, 2018. It aims to accomplish the following strategic objectives by 2022. 1. Provisioning of broadband for all. 2. Creating 4 million additional jobs in the digital communications sector. 3. Enhancing the contribution of the digital communications sector to 8% of 4. India's GDP from 6% in 2017. 5. Propelling India to the top 50 nations in the ICT Development Index of ITU from 134 in 2017. 6. Enhancing India's contribution to global value chains. Ensuring digital sovereignty. The broad mission of the NDCP 2018 policy is centered around three main targets: increasing internet presence in India, Connect India, enhancing IT infrastructure, Propel India, and making online a secure one, Secure India. Connect India. The primary vision of Connect India is to create a robust digital communication infrastructure. As part of this planned vision, various targets are fixed. These need to be achieved by 2022. A. The government will establish a National Broadband Mission, Rashtriya Broadband Abhiyan, to secure universal broadband access. B. Take measures to recognize spectrum as a key natural resource for public benefit to achieve India's socio-economic goals. C. Ensure transparency in allocation and optimize availability and utilization. D. Strengthen satellite communication technologies in India. E. Ensure inclusion of uncovered areas and digitally deprived segments of society. And D. Customer satisfaction, quality of service, and effective grievance redressal. Propel India. Under this broad mission, the ICT infrastructure will be strengthened over a period time that would facilitate all stakeholders to carry out various IT-related services to the society. The main envisaged targets under Propel India are: A. Enabling next-generation technologies and services through investments, innovation, indigenous manufacturing, and IPR generation. B. Catalyzing investments for the digital communications sector. C. Ensuring a holistic and harmonized approach for harnessing emerging technologies, research and development. E. Promoting startups and SMEs. Local manufacturing and value addition, capacity building, strengthening of PSUs, and accelerating Industry 4.0. Secure India. Primarily, Secure India aims to ensure digital sovereignty, safety, and security of digital communications. the government aims to establish a strong, flexible, and robust data protection regime. Amendments have been proposed to various licenses and terms and conditions to address the data protection and security issues by formulating a policy on encryption and data retention, facilitating lawful interception of all digital communications, and increasing awareness amongst users about cybersecurity-related issues. It will also ensure online safety of citizens by instituting a Computer Security Incident Response Team (CSIRT) and enforcing obligations on the part of service providers to report data breaches to authorities and affected users based on specific parameters. It calls for strengthening the security audit mechanism and developing a comprehensive plan for network preparedness, disaster response relief, restoration, and reconstruction. The Digital Communications Commission (DCC), formerly known as Telecommunication Commission, is to ensure effective implementation and monitoring of the National Digital Communications Policy 2018. 4.3.4 The Net Neutrality. The Department of Telecommunications has approved net neutrality rules proposed by TRAI that ban blocking, throttling, and zero-rating Internet data. Zero-rating is the practice of providing Internet access without financial cost under certain conditions, such as by permitting access to only certain websites or by subsidizing the service with advertising or by exempting certain websites from the data allowance. For example, Facebook was planning to offer certain apps such as Netflix, Amazon, etc. on its platform but by barring users from accessing Flipkart and Disney Hotstar. This is considered monopolistic because the service provider gains an advantage in promoting their services over competing independent companies. It limits the rights of users to choose which service they want to access. Also, they might restrict the competitor to reach users of their service, thereby limiting the open market and invoking usage restrictions. This is unfair for all service providers in the telecom sector. As per the net neutrality policy, every net user must have equal access to all lawful online content at the same speed and prescribed cost. The new rules prevent any form of discrimination or interference with data, including blocking, degrading, slowing down, or granting preferential speeds or treatment to any content. The violation of net neutrality will be treated as a violation of the license conditions. This is in contravention to most developing countries where consumers were offered free access to some internet services via Facebook's Internet.org or Free Basics project. It was considered limiting because instead of providing limited access to the whole of the Internet, Facebook provided free access to its carrier partners while charging for access to others. Free Basics was banned in India in 2016. This was done to ensure a level playing field for all online players. 4.4 Regulatory Body. The purpose of any regulation is to ensure the homogeneous application of the law. They are aimed at guiding the activities of government bodies. The legislature does not enact the regulations, but they help in carrying out the legislative intent. The bodies involved in regulatory activities propose regulations that are subsequently discussed and commented upon by members of the public. The proposed regulations are then issued as rules and become legally binding like laws. The purpose of regulation is to ensure a level playing field for all stakeholders. 4.4.1 Role and Responsibilities of TRAI. TRAI was set up through the Telecom Regulatory Authority of India Act, 1997, and it was entrusted to achieve the objectives of the new Telecom Policy 1999. Later, the body was split into TRAI and Telecom Dispute Settlement and Appellant Tribunal, TDSAT, via an amendment in the year 2000. TRAI was entrusted with the regulatory and recommendatory functions, and TDSAT handled dispute settlement. Increasing teledensity and access to telecommunications in the country at affordable prices. making available telecommunications services which in terms of range, price and quality are comparable to the best in the world. Providing a fair and transparent policy environment which promotes a level playing field and facilitates fair competition. Establishing an interconnection regime that allows fair, transparent, prompt and equitable interconnection. Rebalancing tariffs so that the objectives of affordability and operator viability are met consistently. Protecting the interest of consumers and addressing general consumer concerns relating to availability, pricing and quality of service and other matters. Monitoring the quality of service provided by the various operators, providing a mechanism for funding of net cost areas public telephones so that telecom operators discharge universal service obligations for the spread of telecom facilities in remote and rural areas. Preparing the ground for a smooth transition to an era of convergence of services and technologies. Promoting the growth of coverage of a radio in India through commercial and non-commercial channels, and increasing consumer choice in the reception of TV channels and choosing the operator who would provide television and other related services. 4.5 IT laws and rules. IT laws and rules are rules of conduct or action prescribed or formally recognized as binding or enforced by a controlling authority. While laws are specific, a regulation provides a broad framework for the laws to operate. Thus, both laws and regulations have their importance. Regulations are often enforced using laws. For instance, the government may allow certain private players to participate in the bid for spectrum allocation, but their bidding might be contingent on adherence to specific laws. Non-compliance to these laws may lead to disqualification from the bidding process. 4.5.1 Information Technology Act 2000. As per the Indian Computer Emergency Response Team, certain 27,482 cybercrime were committed in India between January to June in the year 2017. The IT Act 2000 is the primary law in India that deals with cyber crimes and e-commerce. It was amended in the year 2008 to address contemporary concerns. The Act lays down punishment and penalties for crimes committed using computers, new media, e.g. hacking, Section 66, identity theft, Section 66C, violation of privacy, Section 66E, threatening national security via the denial of access and attempting to penetrate computer resources, ransomware, etc. Section 66F, publishing obscene, defamatory or sexually explicit content online, Section 67,67A, child pornography, Section 67B, breach of privacy, Section 72, etc. Various sections deal with electronic records, signatures and safeguarding electronic transactions and e-governance measures. The Information Technology, Reasonable Security Practices and Procedures and Sensitive Personal Data or Information Rules 2011 define provisions for personal information and security and what constitutes sensitive personal data. Apart from the enactment of Information Technology (IT) Act 2000 and setting up of certain and National Critical Information Infrastructure Protection Center (NCIIPC) under the IT Act 2000, the Government of India has taken other initiatives such as introducing National Cyber Security Policy 2013 and Framework for Enhancing Cyber Security 2013. The government has also set up Indian Computer Emergency Response Team, CERTIN, to deal with cybersecurity and emergencies. 4.5.2 Role and Responsibilities of MeitY. The Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, MeitY, was carved out of the Department of Electronics and Information Technology, DETI, in 2016. DETI was earlier known as the Department of Information Technology. MeitY is responsible for the formulation, implementation and review of national policies in the field of information technology, and it is also responsible for the overall infrastructure and policies in the IT sector. Mate Y deals with policy matters relating to information technology, electronics, and Internet, all matters other than licensing of Internet service provider. Promotion of the Internet, IT and it-enabled services. Promotion of digital transactions, including digital payments. Assistance to other departments in the promotion of e-governance, e-commerce, e-medicine, e-infrastructure, etc. 5. Promotion of information technology education and information technology-based education. 6. Matters relating to cyber laws, administration of the Information Technology Act 2021 of 2000, and other IT-related laws. MeitY was entrusted with developing a framework for data protection law. Shri B.N. Shri Krishna, retired judge, Supreme Court of India, has been chosen as the chairman for this committee. The draft Data Protection Bill has been submitted to the government for consideration. Subsequently, the Personal Data Protection Bill was introduced in the Parliament in December 2019. As per the provisions in this law, the data of individuals cannot be collected without giving specific details about its purpose. Moreover, individuals must be informed regarding the categories and time of collection of data and with whom it would be shared. All stakeholders are considered liable in case private data was leaked due to negligence of service providers, Section 43A. The section states that where a body corporate, possessing, dealing or handling any sensitive personal data or information in a computer resource which it owns, controls or operates, is negligent in implementing and maintaining reasonable security practices and procedures and thereby causes wrongful loss or wrongful gain to any person, such body corporate shall be liable to pay damages by way of compensation to the person so affected. Punishment is specified in case any information obtained is disclosed to third parties without consent, Section 72A. The appropriate authority needs to be informed in case the personal data is leaked and is likely to affect the individual negatively. The intermediary will have to provide details of such a leak on its website. The law also specifies punishment in case the intermediaries do not retain personal data information for the prescribed duration or fail to save a copy of the data on servers in India, Section 67C. An intermediary is defined as any person who on behalf of another person receives, stores or transmits that record or provides any service with respect to that record and includes telecom service providers, network service providers, internet service providers, web hosting service providers, search engines, online payment sites, online auction sites, online marketplaces and cyber cafes. The intermediary shall not initiate the transmission, select the receiver of the transmission, and select or modify the information contained in the transmission. The government will have the power to intercept, monitor or decrypt information, Section 69, and collect or monitor traffic data in the interest of national security, Section 69B. New notifications have been issued as part of the temporary suspension of telecom services, Public Emergency or Public Safety Rules 2017, which allows the government to temporarily shut down phone and internet services during a public emergency or for public safety. But these powers are also considered overarching, and there are fears that the government may use these provisions to intercept or block legitimate social media handles in the garb of protecting national security. 4.6 Agencies involved in cybersecurity. 4.6.1 Indian Computer Emergency Response Team, certain, Section 70B of the IT Act 2000 called for establishing Indian Computer Emergency Response Team, certain, as the National Cybersecurity Agency. The agency is responsible for spreading awareness pertaining to cybersecurity issues and also to operate a helpline to manage such incidents. It deals with collection, analysis and dissemination of information on cybersecurity incidents. Forecast and issue alerts of cybersecurity incidents. Take emergency measures for handling cybersecurity incidents, coordination of cybersecurity incident response activities. Issue guidelines, advisories, vulnerability notes, and white papers relating to information security practices, procedures, prevention, response, and reporting of cyber incidents. Such other functions relating to cybersecurity as may be prescribed. 4.6.2 Data Protection Authority, DPA. The Personal Data Protection Bill was introduced in 2019. It provides for the protection of personal data of individuals and establishes a data protection authority for this purpose. As per the Information Technology, Reasonable Security Practices and Procedures and Sensitive Personal Data or Information Rules, 2011, personal data is defined as password, financial information such as bank account or credit card or debit card or other payment instrument details, physical, physiological and mental health condition, sexual orientation, medical records and history, biometric information, any detail relating to the above clauses as provided to body corporate for providing service, and any of the information received under above clauses by body corporate for processing, stored or processed under lawful contract or otherwise. The government has mandated that any legal entity who is processing, dealing or handling sensitive personal data, data fiduciary, must implement reasonable security practices and procedures such as data encryption, age verification and parental consent while processing data of children, etc. The bill also lays out the rights of the individual. These include the right to know if their data has been processed by a fiduciary and even restrict continuing the disclosure. The Data Protection Authority will take care that all intermediaries, including government, process data as per the law. DPA will ensure monitoring and enforcement, legal affairs, policy and standard setting, research and awareness, and inquiries, grievance handling and adjudication. It will state codes of practice, conduct inquiries and issue warnings. 4.6.3 National Cyber Coordination Center, NCCC. The government has planned to set up a National Cyber Coordination Center, NCCC, to mitigate cybersecurity threats and understand cybersecurity breaches at the macro level. 4.7 Social Media Guidelines. Guidelines are different from laws as they are not binding and enforceable. They suggest a course of action and do's and don'ts for any given situation. The government has specific guidelines for using social media to enhance the usage of social media for public outreach, for disseminating information, policy making, recruitment, generating awareness, education, etc. Government departments and agencies can engage social media in any of the following manners: by making use of any of the existing external platforms, or by creating their own communication platforms. The choice of the platform based on the duration of engagement and type of consultation. The framework and guidelines for use of social media for government organizations comprises of the following 6 elements. 1. Objective: why an agency needs to use social media. 2. Platform: which platform is to use for interaction. 3. Governance: what are the rules of engagement. 4. Communication strategy: how to interact. 5. Pilot: how to create and sustain a community. 6. Institutionalization: how to embed social media in the organization structure. Actively harnessing social media is now even more important given the massive presence of citizens on the internet. As more and more people come online, social media can become a prominent tool to connect with masses, ensure transparency and accountability in administration, receive instant feedback, and solve problems efficiently. It also reduces needless paperwork and helps in connecting people in remote and disadvantaged regions with the mainstream. In the absence of social media guidelines, there will be no standardization among different government departments, and public outreach programs may become ineffective. These guidelines are vital to achieving the goal of Digital India. 4.8 Let us sum UP. The digital media ecosystem in the country is made up of various statutory bodies and constitutional provisions. A robust regulatory mechanism has been developed to deal with challenges to the system. However, rapid technological advancements and fast pace of IT adoption in India have made it difficult to respond to emerging challenges. The government is trying to evolve systems that are sustainable and at par with global practices. There is a huge need for digital literacy programs to enable a smooth transition of citizens into netizens. The telecom market needs to remain open, free, and allow rapid development of digital media. The multi-stakeholder approach supports the democratic governance of the Internet envisaged by the government. However, a large number of players are involved, and this often creates regulatory challenges along with confusion about the government's stand on issues. The shutting down of the Internet to prevent misuse by non-state actors has come under severe backlash because it also infringes on the right to communicate freely. The content platforms such as Facebook, Google also face difficulties as they can neither monitor all the content shared on their platforms nor risk non-compliance when asked to take down a page. The end goal of the regulatory structure is to create a fair, equitable, and transparent system of Internet governance that is accountable and dynamic. Thank you for watching. We will see you